Before it all began, it was all silent. There was silence. In the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. And when you hear the word from God, it will make you God. We are going through the Gospel of Mark, chapter 4, line number 14. Now, he had introduced this section with the parable of the sower. Jesus had just mentioned it, and now he's going to explain it to his disciples. So he says, because there were in the parable, there were 4 types of indications or 4 types of fields which are mentioned in the sowing of the seed. So what they are is going to be outlined and explained from the 14th verse. The sower soweth the seed, soweth the word. Now Jesus says the sower, of course, in a field, it is the farmer who soweth his seeds. The soweth the word, but here the word is used as word. Sower soweth the word. The sower here, in this instance, is a good Lord. He is a sower. And he soweth the seed, soweth the word. And he injects that word, imparts that word to mankind and to every individual who is so ready to receive it. So by and large, that word, the sower soweth the word. What is that word which is soweth in the field, in the mind field of an individual? M-I-N-D, mind, the field of the mind. That's the field in which this particular word is implanted or sowed by the good Lord, by the good Lord. And what is that word? It's a very profound and significant word. The entire Gospels, the 4 Gospels, is going to outline the significance and the implications of that implication of that word, and is going to open it out as to what it is. And the entire teaching revolves on that. And that word is, you are gods. every one of you is the divine in your real nature, not in your human nature, but in your true status. Everyone is the divine. So that is why Jesus said this. In the Gospel of John, he had mentioned this. You are gods. That is the final essence of the entire teaching. This too is the final essence, the word, the mystic word, which God tells you. And when he tells and explains to you, so in the Upanishads too, the final teaching, the final word is, the final sentence is, the final sentence or the final pronouncement is, that divine thou art, tat tvam asi, that divine which thou seekest with all thy heart, art thou indeed in your true and essential nature. That is the pronouncement of the Upanishads. And so too also, that has been reiterated by Jesus in the Gospel of John by stating that you are gods. So if you are gods, how to be God? How to be, and you did not know that you are God. So somebody has to come and tell you. When you're asked, who am I? When you ask somebody, especially if you're a child, all children ask this question. Natural question. Mommy, who am I? That's a natural question. Mommy, who am I? That's one question you ask. The second question is, oh, Daddy, where am I? Father, where am I? Who am I really? So here too also, that is exactly what the question, the word is all about. It's going to open out this word and state to you that you are the divine. In fact, this understanding is the beginning of religion, of true religion, wherein you realize and learn to realize your oneness and your identity with God. So therefore, this word is being imparted. So you are the sower, soweth the word. So it is the good Lord himself who sows this word in your heart, Because, of course, with your mind you understand, but it is with your heart that you receive it. Yes, it is so. When you begin to comprehend that significance, yes, I am so. I am the divine. So it is that sower soweth the word. And this word, everybody does not easily understand. It is only the ones who are psychologically ready to receive it, who will understand the significance and the implication of this word, that you are the divine, you are gods, not the others, not the others. So therefore, 4 types of people were indicated. 4 types of people are being indicated in opening out this parable. So in the first instance, when the word is mentioned, when the word is said, you are gods, the first type is, and these are they by the wayside, where the word is sown. So when like the seeds which are sown in the field, here too also, there are people who are on the wayside, who are just passers by, who have got nothing better to do, just they are loitering about. They are on the wayside. So when they also hear the word, where the word is sown, because when Jesus spoke there was a huge multitude. made up of the entire range of humanity. And that in that range of humanity, you find also people who are just casual listeners, casual listeners. So those are those who are on the wayside. So when they hear the word, these are those who are by the wayside where the word is sown. So word is sown to those people who are on the wayside, who have just nothing better to do, just to overhear. They just overhear the word. But when they have heard, what happens? When they hear the word, Satan cometh immediately and taketh away the word. Satan. Now here the word Satan means your lower impulses. It's too much, When it is said that you are gods, you got to now act and behave like a god. If you are told that you are a god, if you are told that you are a human being and not an animal, you got to now learn to behave like a human being. Now, if you are told that you are gods, then you got to be godly. Now, that's too much for the simpleton on the streets to receive this news that you are God, because he has to now function and behave like a god. Be godly. That's not possible for him. So therefore, his lower impulses, the Satan cometh immediately. Satan here means the lower impulses which are there lurking within yourself. Taketh away the word. So immediately the lower impulses come and say, oh, he has got nothing better to do. He's just talking like this is too much. Let's get on with our ways. And taketh away the word that was sown in their heart. So this word was sown in the mind field, and in the heart field it was sown, but the lower impulses come immediately and disregard it. They disregard it. So this is one type of people. And these are they likewise which are sown on stony ground. And the second type of people who are just likened to the ones wherein the seed is sown on stony ground. On stony ground, there is a little earth, not much, who, when they have heard the word, immediately receive it with gladness. So they still have some little bit of good, shall we use the word, good tendencies with them. They're not too bad. They are not too bad people. They have got some little virtue about them, nice people, who, when they have heard the word, immediately receive it with gladness. Oh, that's good news. It's good news to know that I am God. Oh, that's nice. I thought I was a miserable human being, but here I am told that I am in my essential nature God. So that's good news. So they receive it with gladness. But unfortunately, and have no root in themselves. So they don't have any root, any foundation within themselves. And so endure but for a time. And this word remains with them for a time. When you receive it, for a time it remains in your mind and in your heart. But then what happens is, and so endure but for a time. Afterwards, when afflictions or persecution ariseth, for the word's sake, immediately they are offended. But they have received it, they are entertaining it for some time. But then what happens is, entertaining the very implications and the concept of this word. And then when afflictions, difficulties, or persecutions arise, then ariseth for the word's sake. For the sake of this word, because you got to entertain this. Entertain the word. Because when you are told that you are gods, what have you to do? You have to maintain the awareness that I am God. That awareness that I am God. So that godly awareness has to be maintained by you. But so So when difficulties and afflictions and persecutions arise, they immediately give it up. They say it's too much for us. Our worldly problems are and difficulties are too difficult. And as a result of it, they quickly give up this word itself. They just leave it. They don't want it. So this is a second type of people, because they have no roots in them. No roots, no solid, nothing solid about them. So therefore, they just leave the word itself. They don't care about it. They dismiss it after some time. They receive it and then dismiss it. And the third type of person is, and these are they which are sown among thorns, such as hear the word. And the third type of person is wherein the word is sown in the field, but there are also in the field thorns. So thorns here means there are other plants growing around. Worldly impressions are there. So here, this word is a spiritual thought, spiritual impression which has been imparted to you. And the bushes here stand for, their thorns and bushes stand for worldly impressions, the worldly impressions which are there. So what happens is, those worldly impressions which are there, they smother it. They smother this good word which has come, because the person is still very worldly. Yeah? And he is very worldly. So the third person is like they which are the word which is sown among thorns, amongst such as hear the word. So those people who hear the word are like those people. The third type are wherein like thorns, wherein there is the thorns and bushes and everything. And then these people are likened to, and the cares of this world, they are filled with worldly responsibility, worldly cares. People have got a great deal of worldly care in the world. It is no joke to live in the world itself. To take care of oneself is a big problem. To take care of two people is a bigger problem. And if you have a family itself, what a big problem it is. What a big problem it is. So the cares of this world, you're constantly occupied in taking care of the family, day or night. Day or night, you've got to now take care of this family of yours. So the cares of this world, you've got to, all these worldly, you've got to care for your fields, you've got to care for your house, care for so many things indeed. And not only that, and the deceitfulness of riches. And the deceitfulness of riches, the glamour of the world. Because the glamour of the world is still enticing people. That's why God has created a glamorous world. You may call it Maya. Maya means that which fascinates you, which entertains you, fascinates you, and captures your imagination, captures your interest. So the world has so captured your interest in so many ways. As a result of it, you don't care to entertain this word. So the cares of so one is the cares of this world, the responsibilities and cares. Second is deceitfulness of riches, the glamour of this world, and the lust of other things. And also the person is filled with desires and passions. You've got so many desires, passions, and all of that is filling this person up. So as a result of this, they choke this word. Just like the bushes choking the seed, which is trying to emerge out as a little plant. So also all these three factors put together, they choke the word and do not allow this word to take fertile root or ground in the hearts and mind of the individual. So majority of the human race is caught in this section. Many good people. They are good people, very decent, nice people, but they are preoccupied with the world or with the glamour of the world. Some are with the glamour of the world, and some are involved with the passions of the world, the desires. They want to fulfill their desires, and the passions overtake them. So as a result of it, this word gets choked up, and it becomes unfruitful. becomes unfruitful. The word doesn't take root in their minds and hearts. Then, thereafter, you have the fourth type of individual, wherein the word takes good root in them. That's the fourth type. And these are they which are sown on good ground. So the good people, wherein good, noble, righteous people, and wherein the seed is, the word of God is sown on good ground, good soil. So the soil, good soil means here a soil which has been prepared, a soil which has been prepared on good ground. And you know very well that a farmer, when he goes to sow the seed in the field, he has to prepare the soil, the bed of the soil so that he can plant the seeds there. He prepares it, he waters it, tills the soil, oxidizes it, he tills it with a plow. In the ancient, today they plow it with tractors. In the olden days with plows. So they turn the soil and oxidize the field and turn it over, clear it up, and prepare the bed of the soil indeed, so that the soil can receive the seed, the good seed, when it falls on it. So here also, these are they which are sown on good ground. So these are those people. What type of people? Noble, righteous people, God-loving, God-fearing, God-loving, God-fearing, noble, righteous, and who are of a good nature, who are incapable of doing wrong things. These are the righteous, dharmic people of virtue and nobility. So as a result of it, these people have prepared their soil. They have prepared their heart and their mind by a righteous living, by also a righteous living. So that is why the righteous living is also very important in a man's life. An unrighteous living, wherein a wrong source of income corrupts the mind. It corrupts the mind. Later on, Jesus says somewhere in another section, it corrupts the mind. It corrupts the mind. So when corrupt income corrupts the mind, so therefore the income has to be a good income, a noble income, a righteous income. So that is why Lord Buddha emphasized in his Eightfold Path, right livelihood. That's a very important factor. So right livelihood is that wherein you do not cause harm and misery to others and difficulties to others in making your livelihood in life. So that's a very important feature. So therefore, these people are noble, good, and they are good people. So a good person will be like that. A good person and an honorable person will see to it that his living and livelihood is on the right direction. Yes? So these are the people who have prepared their bed. So their bed means the soil. The bed, the soil. The soil has been well prepared. Shall we say, the field of operations. The field of operations in which the word is sown is the mind field and the heart field. So these are people with a good heart, with a clean heart, with a pure heart. So three things have to be clean here. You have to have a clean mind, a clean heart, and a clean hand. When you do things with your hand, it should be a clean hand which does things in a correct and righteous manner. So by this process, by a clean mind, clean heart, and a clean hand, the soil of your mind and the heart, they get prepared for the reception and for the dawn of the good word. And the good word is that you are the divine, to receive it, to receive it. So these are they which are sown on good ground, such as hear the word. So when they hear the word, they receive it. They receive it. And having received it, bring forth fruit. Some 30-fold, some 60, and some 100. So that's very interesting. So when they receive the word, they entertain the word. They entertain the word in their heart and in their mind. They entertain that word. How? By becoming God aware. That's the way to entertain it. God aware. That awareness which they have. Formerly, they were aware of this and that. They were aware of the world. They were aware of other things. But now, instead of all the other things, they have now become aware of their divine nature, of the Atman, of their which is their divine nature, the Atman with a capital A, or Brahman. Brahman is the term used for the divine. It is not a name for God, but it is a term by which the divine is to be understood. Is to be understood because the word has got enormous metaphysical meaning behind it. And so therefore, the feeling that I am the divine, I am God. Huh? I am God. Aham Brahmasmi. I am the divine. Because when it is said that you are gods, you have got to, because that is the pronouncement of the teacher, of the Messiah, when he says you are gods, then it is left to the disciples to feel that I am God. That feeling that I am God is to be wherein you maintain that awareness of your God nature. You maintain the awareness of your God nature. So for you to maintain the awareness of your God nature, you have to forget. Forget your individual human self. You've got to forget that. You are no more this individual human self, this miserable little fellow, but you are the glorious divine. Huh? So leave that guy alone. Now feel that. And then you forget the world. You are not interested anymore in the world, in the proceedings of the world. Let the world go its own way. It doesn't matter what it is. So you are aware of your divine nature, and constantly when you can maintain this is called, in technical language, God, in English, simple English, it is called as God awareness. So, and if you put it into metaphysical terms, it is the awareness wherein there is nothing there. In that awareness, the content of that awareness has got nothing there. Nothingness. There is nothingness in that awareness. Only simple, pure awareness is there. If you were to reduce it into technical terms, metaphysical terms, in that awareness, there is nothing there. There is neither the world. You are not aware of the world. You are not aware of yourself and the problems of yourself. You are not concerned with the world and its problems. You have forgotten that. And you have forgotten also the third thing, which when I mention, people are a little diffident about it. You also forget all the religious education that you have had so far. Just forget it once and for all. Huh? You are God. You are not a Christian, nor a Hindu, nor a Buddhist, nor anybody else. You are the divine. So give up that religious identity also. Don't feel to yourself. Just feel yourself as your divine nature. With your as the divine. Just feel it to yourself. And in order to feel so and be so, just feel so and be so. I am. Just maintain that amness. And maintaining this amness in technical language is called as Brahmakara Vritti. The mind assuming the form of the formless Brahman. That's one way of putting it. Another way of putting it is in Christian terminology. You are maintaining the holy Sabbath, wherein in that Sabbath, the holy Sabbath, because man was made in the image of God. So since God has no images, therefore, when you are in an imageless state, you're automatically in the imageless image of God. Then at that time, your mind has synchronized itself with the nature of God, or you are in communion with God. Or we could also say that this is the time when you are in holy communion. So whenever you meditate, your mind has become very silent to all mental phenomena and worldly phenomena, and is only maintaining this pure, unqualified awareness. When it does so, you are in holy communion with God. So when this happens, what happens is, that is what he is saying, when you keep on maintaining this day in and day out, every day for the rest of your life, then what happens? You bring forth fruit, the fruit of your labor. This is your labor. This is your labor, hard labor that you're going through to maintain this awareness. And then you bring forth fruit, some 30-fold. So the seed was one little seed, that I am the divine. You are gods. That's a seed. Aham Brahmasmi, I am the divine. And then some 30-fold, some 60, and some 100. That means it keeps on increasing. So that is to say, this impression. So every time you maintain this awareness, you are cultivating divine impressions within yourself. Divine impressions are entertained and cultivated by you, like drops of water filling up a bucket, filling up an empty bucket. So also your mind is being saturated with the thoughtless thought of Brahman indeed, and it saturates it. So gradually it goes and fills up your mind. And in so filling up your mind, it clears out all the worldly impressions. This is what is happening there. Your worldly impressions are being cleared, and your mind is being saturated with divine impressions. So that is why he says, some bring forth fruit. Some 30-fold, some 60, some 100, some 1,000, etc., until you reach the infinite level, infinity. So this is the meaning of this seed which has been sown into you by the good Lord. And it is only when you are a good person, a righteous person. So these are fourth category of persons, towards whom or on whom the seed is sown, the good seed is sown. So this is the beginning of religion. The foundation of religion is this understanding. And then he continues and says, moreover, we have to also include this. The foundation of your life. There is a spiritual foundation and there is a worldly foundation. So you require both. The worldly foundation are contained in the 10 Commandments. Actually, there are more than 10, there are about 24 commandments. So these are worldly foundation. And the spiritual foundation is wherein you cultivate spiritual virtues. So both are necessary. And in doing so, you are preparing the soil for the seed to germinate and grow. So you're preparing. So this is the foundation of life. And the Old Testament is all about worldly commandments, while the New Testament is talking about the spiritual foundation. So both have, so one is the basis of the other. Both are necessary. Then he says, with another parable, having said this much, he's saying in line number 21, and he said unto them, is a candle brought to be put under a bushel or under a bed, and not to be set on a candlestick? On a candlestick. And he said, is a candle which gives candle light. The room is dark and there is a candle and you want to light it up. So is a candle brought to be put under a bushel? You don't put it under a bushel or under a mat and hide it, or under a bed. It's not to be hidden, but it is, and not to be set on, and is it not to be set on a candlestick? So a candle is to be set on a candlestick. And what is the candlestick? You are the candlestick. You will find that when you go to the church, there is a candle stand wherein you light the candle in the church. Or if you go to a temple, there is a temple lamp and you light it. And you light it and give it light. Light it. So here also, you are the candlestick. You are the candlestick. And when it is lighted, this candlestick is lighted with what? With God awareness. So with God awareness, when it is lighted, this candlestick, so you are the candlestick. So in your mind itself, in your awareness, it has been lit. This lamp of knowledge, this lamp of wisdom, knowledge has been lit. And as a result of this will go to illuminate the entire universe. It will illuminate you, and it will illuminate the whole universe too, in due course, in due time. And this will also get explained how. So Jesus is now unfolding the parables one after the other. Each one is succeeding the other. So in this section, these parables are succeeding each other, one leading to the other. So here in this parable, that you are the candle, you are the candlestick, and in which the God awareness is maintained, and this will go to light up yourself because you are in darkness. You don't know who you are. And at the same time, the world around you, which was in darkness, is now lit up with God awareness. With God awareness, that is a light. So therefore, this parable is also given there. Just a simple little parable in a few lines. It is mentioned there. Then, in line number 22, for there is nothing hid which shall not be manifested. Neither was anything kept secret, but that it should come abroad. For there is nothing hidden in the world which should not become manifest. What is that which is hidden? God's beingness, God's natural state of existence has been hidden to you by the objective world around you, the objective world which is around you. It has been hidden by this. So this world of multiplicity of various things and names and forms has hidden the existence of God which is there. So therefore, when you maintain this awareness, this God vision of unified, God vision is the unified vision of oneness. And when you keep on maintaining this vision of oneness, unified vision of oneness, which is whole, non-fragmented, non-fragmented, wherein you see around you the entire world around you. But when you are seeing it around, you try to maintain this non-fragmented, unfragmented vision of oneness. Then what happens is the vision of the multiplicity begins to recede into the background, which was until now in the foreground, which is only there in the foreground. So now you're brought in a new vision, the God vision, the unified vision of oneness. This unified vision of oneness is called non-dual awareness. In another terminology, non-dual awareness. Duality is no more there. And when you maintain this, when you begin to maintain this, the awareness of the multiplicity begins to recede into the background, and the non-dual awareness comes into the foreground. And then in due course, that's what he's saying, there is nothing hid which shall not be manifested. So therefore, when you maintain this and entertain this for some time, over a period of time, days and months, then what happens is the unmanifest divine, the divine which is hidden by the names and forms of the things of the world, it begins to manifest to you. So that is what he means here. For there is nothing hid which shall not be manifested. So there itself, where you were previously seeing the world, you will be seeing the divine God everywhere, God around you. And neither was there anything kept secret, but that it should come abroad. And also at the same time, it was secret. They said it is secret knowledge, that I am that divine. So you are also, so your individual nature, your individuality, your identity with your individual nature was covering your divine nature. But when you begin to feel that I am the divine with your eyes closed, then what happens is the feeling that I am the divine, it begins to fill and saturate your mind and consciousness. And then the feeling of your individuality, it recedes into the background and disappears. And the feeling that I am the divine, it begins to manifest. And therefore it is said, there was not anything which was kept secret, but that it should come abroad, that it should manifest itself. So within yourself also, you will begin to feel that I am the divine. You will begin to experience it in due course. So also, as far as the objective world is concerned, the world itself will begin to manifest as the divine. And subjectively too, you will also begin to manifest an experience that I am God indeed. So that is what he is indicating here. But it is worded in a mystical manner, not directly. Therefore, he says, if any man have ears to hear, let him hear. Well, if you have got the good ears to understand this, you better hear it. This is profound knowledge indeed. If you have got the comprehend, shall we see the benediction or the good fortune to comprehend and understand this, may you hear this. If any man have ears to hear, let him hear this and live by it. That's what he implies here. Then, in verse number 20, line number 24, he says, and he's carrying on further with his explanation. And he said unto them, take heed what you hear. Be careful of what you hear, because what you hear is something very important, very significant. Whatever you hear, if you hear something remarkably good, take heed of it, because it will transform and transmute your life. So take heed what you hear. Take heed what you hear. With what measure you meet, it shall be measured to you. So with what measure you meet, this particular phrase has got a worldly meaning and a mystical meaning too. The worldly meaning is that with what measure you hear, with what measure you meet, it shall be measured to you. As per what you do, you will receive. With what measure you meet, with what measure you judge things and go about your operations in life, accordingly, it will be measured unto you, it will be given unto you. It will be given unto you. That's a worldly meaning. But there is a mystical meaning here. With what measure you meet. You know, when you have a ground, you measure it. With what measure you meet it. So here you have the ground, the earth field, the entire earth and the universe. This is the field, this is the ground of your operations. So with what measure? So what is the measure that you're going to measure this universe? With God's measure. So you envelop this world. This envelop this mighty world, which is so huge and so vast, with God awareness. With God awareness, you measure it. You fill it up. You fill up the entire universe with, that's the measure. That's the measure that you're going to measure the whole universe. The entire infinite universe, expanding universe, is going to be measured by you with one simple measure called the God measure. With the God measure, you measure it. With what measure you meet, it shall be measured to you. Now remember this, it shall be measured to you. So if you measure it with a God measure, then it shall be measured to you. You will in return, experience God there. That's what it means. Because you are measuring the world with his God vision. So in the same manner, it shall be measured to you with a God experience. So when you view it, the whole universe with his God vision, in due course, you will have the God experience. That's what it means. It shall be measured to you. And unto you that hear shall more be given. And those who hear this and comprehend and understand this, more truths will be imparted to you, because you are in a position to comprehend it. You are in a position to comprehend further truths. Unto you that hear shall more be given. So more and more will be given to you. Then, but there is something. in line number 25, Jesus is bringing about a word of caution here. He's bringing a word of caution. And this he's outlining and explaining in line number 25. For he that hath, to him shall be given, and he that hath not, from him shall be taken even that which he hath. You know, this old English. Hath, has. For he that hath, for he that has what? Has this God awareness, to him shall be given more. He will be given the capacity to maintain this God awareness more and more. As you keep on maintaining this, you will develop the capacity and the ability to maintain more and more. To him shall be given more. And he that had not, from him shall be taken even that which he had. So in case you have it, you have this, but unfortunately, the preoccupations that you have with the world or with other interests which you may have, with your worldly pastimes and interests, what happens is you do not cultivate this, you do not maintain this. So then for such a person who does not maintain this awareness, he says, and he that had not, from him shall be taken even that which he hath. So that person who does not go about maintaining this awareness day in and day out in a consistent manner, then the good Lord says, even that which he has, even that will also be taken away from him. That also will be taken away from him. This all of you know very well. When you have, especially in the field of sport, when you have attained to a certain amount of capacity in your sports endeavor, you've got to keep it going. And in case if you do not practice your sports, whatever it is, then you begin to lose your ability to get back to your old original true form. You're losing that capacity. So therefore, to sustain it, you've got to consistently keep on practicing it until the end result is obtained. The end result is enlightenment. Until that is obtained, one should keep on sustaining this. But if a person does not go through this consistently, what happens is that even what he has will fade away from the person. And herein, the second law of thermodynamics comes into application in physics. It's called the second law of thermodynamics, the law of entropy. Any organized entity, if it is not maintained and sustained, undergoes gradual deterioration in due time and in due course. So it is an automatic process. That is, decaying takes place. Decaying takes place. So this is called the law of entropy. It's a natural inbuilt process, inbuilt law, that if a particular thing is not maintained and sustained, then you begin to lose your capacity, lose that capacity, and it undergoes automatically a deterioration. That is why one wonderful thing about the Muslims is that no matter where they are, even in an airport, the Muslims see to it that they go through their namaz 3 times a day. He doesn't care who is around, even in the airport. Huh? He spreads his mat, kneels down in prayer, and does his namaz. What a wonderful thing. He's sustaining and maintaining this. So that is why, so that is what the good Lord says here. That if you do not sustain and maintain this, then it will deteriorate within yourself. So even that ability which you had will go away. And he said, thus so, in verse number 26, and he said, so is the kingdom of God. So too also is the kingdom of God. As if a man should cast seed into the ground. As if a man should cast seed into the ground. So the kingdom of God is now likened to something. As an example, how you can arrive at this kingdom of God which is within you, how you can arrive at that. And he said, and with a nice simile, with a beautiful simile, he is outlining this. And this, we will see it the next week. Om Tat Sat.